What's going on, everyone? Welcome on into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here answering questions from our live show, which airs on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern. Our first question is coming in via Super Chat from Joshua Miller. 2025 draft sleeper Dont'e Thornton. This is the Tennessee receiver who averaged north of 20 yards of reception last year. He's a complete kind of home run type guy. He's a vertical threat. He had some drop concerns. I don't think you should take him any earlier than round 4. To me, he's a round 5 through 7 target, but the Browns do like to add speed to their receiver room. They've done that in free agency. Jakeem Grant, Marquise Goodwin. Maybe they go with more homegrown one, but don't take one too early. Wink, wink, Anthony Schwartz. Luke, do you think the Browns trade back up or in the second round? I think it's more likely at pick 33 they take a tiny step towards round 1 versus a tiny step back. The reason being is it's not that great of a draft class, so you might want to go with the one great player over 2 good players, if that makes some sense. Luke, really appreciate your question, though. Next one coming in. We'll save that for later. P. Diddy. Who is Tyler Shough? Never heard of this dude. So some background on him because he's gaining a lot of traction. I think he really first came to the scene when Mary Kay mocked the Browns trading back into round 1 to get him. And that was like an eye-opening of who the heck is this Louisville quarterback. So let's give you a little bit of background knowledge on the longtime college quarterback who is 25 years old. He turns 26 in September. Good size, 6'5", 220. Started off at Oregon backing up Justin Herbert. Goes to Texas Tech. Plays 3 seasons there. Suffers season-ending injuries in all 3. Then he goes and plays one last season for Louisville where he put on a really good resume for the draft with an awesome amount of arm talent, the ability to flick the wrist and just effortlessly throw the ball downfield. And we know teams are going to be, very passionate and gravitate towards quarterbacks who have great arm strength. I'm not seeing the hype. I'm not seeing the round 1, the round 2 hype. I think he's a day 3 quarterback. So I'm not in on Tyler Shough early on in the draft. Joseph, if you knew the Browns were not going quarterback with their first or second pick, who would you want them taking with their top 2 picks? If the Browns can walk away with either Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, which they were guaranteed one of those 2 guys. Let's say Travis Hunter, though, because that's what the consensus is right now. To start round 2 at pick 33, or up to me, I'd go with either Omarion Hampton or Caleb Johnson. If one of those 2 guys is there, I'd love to get a new workhorse running back and then get a playmaker on offense and defense with Travis Hunter. I can get behind that, and I can walk away from the first 2 days of the draft going, hey, the Browns just got some real big impact players who can start and contribute as a rookie. Joseph, appreciate your question. Scott, the first 4 picks should be Travis Hunter, quarterback or left tackle, running back, then tight end. I'm with you on the Travis Hunter. I still have my concerns about his ability to play both ways, but at this point it feels like it's going to happen, so stop fighting it. As for quarterback, left tackle, I disagree. Will it be? Very well could be quarterback. Do I think it should be? Honestly, no. If it were up to me, I'd rearrange a little bit here, Scott. Here's what I do. Ready? Hunter first. Sure. I'd go running back, pick 33. It's a very good running back class. If Omarion Hampton or Caleb Johnson is still there, I think in a few years in a redraft, those guys are going to go in the first round guaranteed. But if you want to wait for Travion Henderson or Quinshon Judkins, okay. But I would not mind going Travis Hunter and then say Omarion Hampton. All right. Then I'd go quarterback with, you guys are not going to like this, Kyle McCord. And then tight end with Elijah Arroyo, the Miami tight end, or Mason Taylor, or Harold Fannin from Bowling Green. And then left tackle, it's a bad tackle class. So find someone you can in round 4, but I don't have high expectations for a tackle in this class that's not named Will Campbell or Armand Membu. Jeffrey, not sure about running back position. Maybe a trade with the Jets would work out, but I would still move up for, who is this right here, Jeffrey? Ashton Jeanty? There's some kind of emoji at the end, I'm saying. Orange cat whistle. Okay. So talking about trading up for Ashton Jeanty. Apparently the Panthers have some willingness to give up pick number 8. So if you're talking about picking someone at 2 and then jumping back into round 1, you're going to have to give up a future first-round draft pick. I would not do that. I do not want the Browns to leave this draft with no future first-rounder. To me, I don't really care who they get out of it. It's not going to be something I can give a thumbs up to. As for a trade with the Jets for like Breece Hall, yeah, I can definitely get behind that. Obviously, for the right price and all, but some kind of day 3 pick swap of sorts, I'm in. Before we look at the other questions on today's mailbag, quick shout out to our friends over at Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. So if you want tickets to a Cavs game, a Guardians game, or any other sporting event in your area, make sure you check out Game Time. Last-minute deals at Game Time include saving up to 60% off last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and other events. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHAT Sports for $20 off. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Next question coming in from Graham. Sorry about Hunter. Sorry, MB. Hunter or Carter, lock it in. Who will be starting quarterback next year? I don't know who the MB is, but I agree that it's going to be obviously Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter at number 2. Starting quarterback, I think it's going to be Joe Flacco. I think Joe Flacco will be under center week 1, and I think Kenny Pickett and the rookie will be battling for QB2. It'll probably be Kenny Pickett, and then if Flacco starts to play poorly, they'll give Pickett the first opportunity like in-game, and then during that week of practice, they probably turn it over to the rookie. You know what I mean? Like, let's say Flacco in like week 10 gets benched at halftime. They go to Pickett for the second half, and then on Wednesday they announce the rookie will be starting this week. That's my prediction for what the quarterback room kind of looks like next year. Roy from good old Germany. My push the offense 4-round mock. Second overall, Travis Hunter. 33rd best quarterback available. Let's just say Jackson Dart. Okay. 67th running back. Let's say Quinshawn Judkins. 96th tight end. Let's go with Elijah Arroyo. And 104th, another quarterback that's realistic. I could see Kyle McCord being around there. Will Howard. I think Will Howard's going to be a day 3 pick. I don't think he's going to go round 3. So I'll go with Will Howard right there. Roy, appreciate your question, and I don't dislike the idea of going with 2 quarterbacks in this class. You have 10 picks. Yeah, why not throw a dart in rounds 2 or 3 and another one in rounds 4 or 5? Christopher Stofira, draft is weak this year. No extreme talents. If you disagree, then who would you draft over Garrett if he was in this draft? Nobody. We need to look at this draft for backup positions mainly. Chris actually has something here. Let's talk about just take the top of the draft. Abdul Carter is, for a lot of people, the number 1 prospect in this class. He's the number 1 prospect that has got some fair criticisms. He's a little bit on the slender side, around 250 pounds. So people have got some core strength concerns. Like, can he win in a bull rush in the NFL, right? That's a fair concern to have for a guy that's supposed to be the number 1 prospect in this class. Take Travis Hunter, for example, right? He's a dual threat guy that we're not sure if that is really possible. That's a decent concern to have. Take Mason Graham. He's looked at as the number 5 pick in this draft. He's got short arms, and for an interior guy, he doesn't flash a ton of huge pass rush potential. The player I'd say is probably the most confident in having a Hall of Fame type career, possibly, I'd say is Ashton Jeanty. It's not very common that it's a running back you put that much faith in. quarterbacks, to me, aren't like all that, rock solid to say the least. I mean, look at just the top 5, top 10 players on Dane Brugler's big board. Jalen Walker's number 5. He's an edge rusher. He's a 6'1" edge rusher. 240 pounds. That's kind of small. I think he's even sub 240. This is a draft class that at the top, there are some fair concerns. And Christopher, you and I kind of, preached this back in January. It's not a great draft class. And this is what I was saying for the quarterback room. It's not a good time for the Browns to need a quarterback. And the quicker that people came to terms with that, the better. That way they didn't spend valuable resources and assets on a problem that just couldn't be fixed this offseason. And that sucks. But I'd rather fix other problems that could be addressed with the currency you have in picks and, cap space than forcing a solution that isn't going to work for the quarterback. So, Chris, I don't disagree. I don't think this will be a draft class that we look back at like the 2018 draft class, the 2011 draft class, with so many future Hall of Famers and Pro Bowl, All-Pro guys in round 1. Probably not going to happen this year. Soul Train, NFL player comp to the guys rumored to be potential Browns players. I can't do one for Travis Hunter. There really is no one, right? Abdul Carter. I'm going to say Micah Parsons is kind of the low-hanging fruit one because they both went to Penn State. I'll take it one step further and go, what about a little Von Miller from the speed standpoint, right? That's what Abdul Carter kind of down. Now, Von, it was also a great bull rusher too. It has lots of strength. But from that first step burst, I could see that comp being made. Who else? Jackson Dart. Gives me Gardner Minshew vibes. Shedeur Sanders gives me Geno Smith vibes. Jalen Milroe, I don't know what vibes he gives me. Someone who's not good. Yeah, don't have one. Caleb Johnson gives me faster David Montgomery vibes. Omarion Hampton gives me Nick Chubb vibes. Soul Train, hope that answers your question. Bruh. Armand Membu from Missouri, if he will even be there for number 33. Dream Draft, at number 33. So I think the Jets could be, not the floor. The Bears, if the Jets go with like Tyler Warren, the Saints maybe. He's a really good prospect. So I don't think he's going to get past the top 15. I'll say this. His absolute floor is the San Francisco 49ers at pick 11. Luke Roth, I want a lineman for the 33rd pick. It's not a good offensive line class. There's no center that's going to go in the top 50. There are very few guards who are going to go in the top 40. Tyler Booker from Alabama would probably be the only one. Donovan Jackson maybe from Ohio State. But there's no Quentin Nelson. There's no Joe Alt. There's none of those guys this year, right? So I just don't think it's an offensive line class that's worth the 33rd overall pick. I don't think any of these guys are going to amount to be really big special players with the exception of Will Campbell, I'd say. All right, before we move on, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you enjoy free Browns content, make sure you scroll on down and click that sub button so you can stay informed leading up to the NFL Draft. Let's pick a card to wrap up. Which card do you want to go with, Mr. Reed? Reed says 10 of hearts. I'm going to go with 7 of hearts. 10 of spades. 10 of spades. All right. That will do it for us on today's episode. Greatly appreciate everyone for hanging out with us and tuning in. If you have not yet, like that video on your way out.